Everyone, Governor Jeff Landry here tonight, wanting to thank the entire Turning Point family, because tonight, unbelievable, over 1,500 people came to listen to Turning Point USA. Thank you, big shout out to LSU Turning Point. And so we're here on campus next to Mike the Tiger, and we're going to put a challenge out to the LSU Board of Supervisors to find a place to put a statue of Charlie Kirk to defend the freedom of speech on college campuses. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can be the first campus to do it.
So that right there is Jeff Landry. He is the governor of Louisiana, and as you heard him say, he wants to erect a statue of Charlie Kirk and put it on the LSU campus and be the first campus to do so. Now, Ryan Clark, the ESPN analyst and former NFL player, doesn't like this idea. Now, I won't get too much into it because there's more to this story. So without further ado, roll the clip.
LSU moved on from head coach Brian Kelly on Sunday, and Kelly's buyout is reportedly just north of $54 million. It would be the second largest head coach buyout in college football history, behind only Jimbo Fisher's roughly $77 million buyout at Texas A&M in 2023. LSU athletic director Scott Woodward was responsible for both of those, Fisher and Kelly's buyouts. Yesterday, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry spoke on how LSU plans to find their next head coach. And Woodward will not.
I can tell you right now, Scott Woodward is not selecting the next coach. The Board of Supervisors is going to come up with a committee, and they're going to go find us a coach. This is a pattern. The guy that's here now that wrote that contract cost Texas A&M $70-something million. Right now, we got a $53 million liability. We are not doing that again. And you know what? I believe that we're going to find a great coach. I mean, maybe we'll let President Trump pick it. He loves winners. You know, I'm not going to be picking the next coach. But I can promise you, we're going to pick a coach, and we're going to make sure that that coach is successful. And we're going to make sure that he's compensated properly. And we're going to put metrics on it. Because I'm tired of rewarding failure in this country.
All right, so you hear that, and Landry is not happy because LSU football team just got done firing Brian Kelly, their head football coach. And in his contract, he is still guaranteed $56 million. And from what Landry is saying is that after looking through the contract, the way that Brian Kelly is going to get paid this $56 million is going to fall on the taxpayers of Louisiana. So Landry's not happy that the people of Louisiana are going to have to front that bill, and the taxpayers are going to have to pay for that price point. According to Landry, is going to have to pay for that $56 million, and he's not happy with it. That's why he makes the joke about, I'm going to let Trump decide who's the next football coach is, which clearly Trump isn't going to make the decision on who's going to be the next football coach at LSU. But he doesn't want people who aren't good coaches or not winning coaches coming in here and getting all this money, even when they don't win and even after they get fired. So I understand him on that point. But now let's go to Ryan Clark, and listen to what he has to say about this.
Lot to unpack there. RC, as our resident LSU Tiger, what do you think of what Governor Landry
First off, it's
said?
the second most ridiculous thing he said this week. The first was standing on campus and saying he wanted to put a statue up of somebody that doesn't represent the people of Louisiana, doesn't represent the players and the students at LSU, doesn't represent the executives that work there. That was the first dumb thing he said this week. This is the second dumbest, right? Amongst a lot of dumb things that he says. Scott Woodward, for whatever he is a man who got Jay Johnson, right? Last I checked, the 2025 Louisiana State University Tiger baseball team was in the White House getting the GAT recently, right? He was there in 2019 when it's one of the greatest college football teams of all time. He also was there when he said, you know what, we're gonna go out and get Kim Mulkey, right? She brings a championship to the school with Angel Reese and with Flau'jae Johnson. And so to me, this is another situation of politicians poking their nose into things that they don't know about. And I honestly believe it was so he can get in front of a microphone and say, look at this connection I have to the president, and he likes to pick winners so he could placate to somebody he idolizes. You don't know nothing about football.
Hold on. Time out 1 second. Now, isn't that the pot calling the kettle black? For one, he says he said some stupid stuff. Ryan Clark says idiotic things all the time on air. And he says he doesn't know anything about football. Well, yeah, Ryan, you don't know anything about politics, and you're constantly bringing politics into your sports analyst job when it has no place for it. And you're one of the biggest race hustlers that we have on the air. And for some reason, every time he hears Charlie Kirk or Donald Trump's name, he gets all frantic and, oh, I got to say something about this. I can't let this stand. He's always getting so worked up anytime somebody mentions Trump or Charlie Kirk.
There's enough going on in the state of Louisiana that needs to be fixed for its constituents. Well, I don't need you tweeting on Saturday night about what's going on in Tiger Stadium. There is too many issues happening right there under your nose that ain't got nothing to do with sports. Scott Woodard is a good man. Scott Woodard is a man that cares about LSU. In the greatest times, back in the day, he understood what it was like to be a part of a winner, and he's brought more winners back to the school. He didn't miss because Brian Kelly wasn't capable. He missed because Brian Kelly was no longer willing. Brian Kelly was no longer tapped in. Brian Kelly didn't care if the people of Louisiana cared about him, and he didn't care if the players knew that he cared about them. That's where it went wrong. Not in picking a man who was the winningest all-time coach in Notre Dame history. And so for me, it's emotional, clearly, and it pisses me off, but Scott Woodard deserves to pick the next head coach, and the governor should stay out of it.
Yeah, if it was just football, the governor should stay out of it. But according to the governor, the contract of Brian Kelly he's due $56 million. And according to the governor, the people of Louisiana are going to have to pay Brian Kelly this money. And he is not happy about that. Now, remember when Ryan Clark said that the people of LSU, Charlie Kirk doesn't stand for them, and he doesn't have the same beliefs as the people of LSU. I don't think he truly knows what he's talking about there either, because I'm going to leave you with one more clip. And this is LSU at their football game before the kickoff, giving a round of applause and cheering in honor of Charlie Kirk. Roll the clip.
That you join us in a moment of reflection following the murders of Charlie Kirk in Orem, Utah, Arenas, Redskins, Charlotte, North Carolina, and LSU wins all times in our communities.
That speaks for itself. That's all I got for you guys today. I'll see you on the next one.